All right, today we're going to dive into a kind of parable, a journey into a world that's a little strange, a little revealing. A world where light doesn't always move in a straight line, and some truths, well, they can only be seen from the corner of your eye.
And this idea is really the heart of the whole thing. We're all surrounded by these hidden surfaces, right? In our societies, in our relationships, even inside ourselves. These are the truths that are so well defended, so tucked away, that just shining a bright light on them doesn't work. You need a different approach, a different angle.
So, our story begins in a place called the Uncanny Forest. And this isn't just a location on a map, it's more like a state of mind. It's that feeling you get when something familiar starts to feel strange, and the normal rules of the world just sort of fall away. So, what exactly is this place? Well, it's what you'd call a liminal space, a permanent home for the in between. It's where things you thought you knew become just odd enough that you're forced to face truths you've never even put a name to before. In this forest, you see, honesty isn't really a choice, it's just the way things are.
Now, our guide through this strange forest is the Jester. But he's not just a character in a costume. No, he's more of a concept. The Jester is the angle. He's that unique, indirect ray of light that's needed to finally illuminate those hidden surfaces. He's basically an instrument of revelation, built to find the shadow side of the human soul. And as he moves through this place, something pretty amazing starts to happen. All those invisible performances, the social masks we all wear, they just start to fade away. The roles we play for the kingdom just dissolve, and all that's left is this raw, primal honesty of the earth. The Jester isn't performing anymore, he's discovering his real purpose. But here's the thing, the Jester isn't alone in there. He's about to meet something else, something terrible, and yet absolutely necessary to complete this whole picture of revelation. And this is it, the verdant dragon. Now this isn't just some monster. It's the physical embodiment of the word no. It's the not self-made flesh, the spirit that always, always denies. It's the cosmic opposition we need to actually see ourselves clearly. And you can't just take this thing at face value. This spirit has a dual nature. Kind of like a difficult truth, right? It might seem ridiculous or even silly on the surface, but underneath, it's ancient. And it's terrible. It's part trickster, part terror. And here's the really important part. The dragon isn't here just to burn everything down. No, its purpose is way more subtle than that. It exists to create the right conditions, the necessary friction, for truths that have been buried for ages to finally see the light of day. Okay, so we've got our two main players, right? The Jester's unique angle of light and the dragon's powerful negation. So what happens when they meet? This is where the whole strange synergy of the story really clicks into place. Let's break down what the parable calls the geometry of revelation. So first, a society, or, a person, hides its truth behind these defensive walls. Then, the Jester's angled light, this weird geometry of the grotesque, finds the hidden seams, the weak spots. And that's where the dragon comes in. Its negation acts almost like a vacuum, drawing out all the internal rot through those cracks. And finally, boom. The unspoken honesty of the world is just out there for everyone to see. And the result? Whoa, it's profound. The time for hiding is over. That celestial silence gets broken by the dragon's emerald light seeping through everything. And suddenly, all the masks are gone. Every face, every intention, every hidden motive in the entire kingdom becomes perfectly crystal clear. But, this kind of revelation, it's not exactly a warm and fuzzy experience. It's a climactic, painful, but absolutely necessary confrontation with reality. Yeah, this isn't some gift from above. It's called a blight of revelation because it's drawn from within the world. It's not some external force coming down to punish. It's the world's own suppressed sickness finally bubbling up to the surface. What the dragon does is it holds up this grotesque mirror. And what does it reflect? The internal decay that all our social structures, all our rules and ceremonies try so hard to tame or just pretend isn't there. It shows us the messy, ugly, untamable parts of ourselves. And here's the kicker for the Jester, and really for all of us. This is an unavoidable encounter. You can't stand outside the mirror and just observe it from a safe distance. You're in it. You are reflected in it. There is no escape from this moment of self-confrontation. So faced with this, what does the jester do? He doesn't run. He aligns himself with this painful truth. He doesn't just report on the wound, he speaks from inside it. And by doing that, he makes the comfortable, homegrown reality of the kingdom feel totally alien, shattering its cozy, ceremonial certainty.
Okay, so after that incredibly intense moment, you have to ask, what's the point of this dragon spirit? What's its ultimate role in the grand scheme of things?
Well, ultimately, the dragon isn't a judge. It's a witness. It's an impartial, eternal witness to every single moral choice that's made. It holds a perfect memory, one that doesn't fade, doesn't forget. It ensures that our actions have weight. And here, right in the middle of all this darkness, we find this little glimmer of hope. See, the whole point of the dragon's harshness isn't to destroy the soul, it's to create just enough discomfort to protect that tiny inner ember of light, the one we're given at our very first breath, from being completely snuffed out by comforting lies.
So after this life-changing encounter, how is the jester different? Let's take a look at where his journey ends up. The transformation is, well, it's total. Before, he had a scripted role to play. Now he's just walking unscripted. He trades in all those social masks for what the story calls full names, basically seeing things in people for exactly what they are. He's moved past the kingdom's big performance and embraced a primal honesty that lives under all that ceremony. He's completely integrated this difficult truth into his being. The very sound he makes in the world has changed. His bells don't just jingle for show anymore. Now they ring with the clear, resonant frequency of reality itself. And he's finally ready to face the cold world without a script. And so this whole story kind of leaves us with a question for ourselves. The jester had his reckoning in the uncanny forest. We all have our own hidden surfaces, our own unspoken truths. So the final thought is this. What happens when that unique angle of light, paired with an undeniable truth, finally finds you?